Hello everybody. I got a lot to talk about today. First of all, let's update the progress of my Morgellons treatment slash cure. Let me just say that I was starting to get pretty depressed, thinking that I was just going around in circles and just lying to myself about whether this was actually working or not. But recently, I've come full circle again, and now I think it really is working, because even some of the most stubborn areas are starting to clear up. Now, one guy sent me a text, and he said that that it will come back, and it will come back like every 28 to 34 days. So, in other words, what he's saying is what I am going through is a normal process of the illness, of the disease, that this is the pattern. I have yet to have anyone else say that. I would like to hear from more people who have maybe found some way to treat it. That would be good information for me to determine the validity of my experiment. So basically, I took the approach that I was just going to remove everything, no matter how difficult that was. Now, obviously, if you can afford to have a doctor or somebody doing that, that would make much more sense. But I'm also researching as I'm going. And according to this book right here, it's called Alien World Order by Len Cass. Now, I'm not promoting anyone's books, I'm just telling you, he talks about the reptilian game plan, which is always to make hybrids. He mentions hybrids a lot in this book. This is what reptilians do. They make hybrids, and that's how they take over planets. So, if there is a reptilian connection, it certainly makes sense with the whole hybrid idea, because as you can see right here, that little guy was on my scalp, and all these other little pieces are like little babies that are growing. So I think they're trying to make hybrids using our bodies as incubators. Okay, that is the working theory. And what evidence do I have? Well, I have evidence that came out of my own body, but I also have the evidence that it's common knowledge that these fibers have been put against the database of all the fibers that have ever been manufactured on planet Earth. And the database might not be 100% complete, but it is very comprehensive, and it goes way back in history. And these fibers that are coming out of our bodies they don't match up to anything known on planet Earth. Now, some doctors have proposed that it's like collagen or the body manufacturing, and I think that's a bunch of hogwash. I'm just going to tell you right now. I have evidence that there was something growing on my scalp. And by the way, the pin technique that I discovered is really helpful. You poke these things with a pin, they do not like the air. And then give it some time, and then some hot water. But I can tell you, this shoulder right here, I've really literally gone through hell with this shoulder. I mean, because this is where the little eggs are, and it's so sensitive. There was times where, I just was working on it. I couldn't even take a shower for a day and a half. It just hurt so bad. I mean, it's extremely painful, aggravating. They say suffering brings you closer to God. I don't know. Is there another connection? Is there another purpose for this? My guesstimation right now is that it's to make hybrids. That's the theory that the evidence is leaning towards. But there's another connection here now. I saw a video on YouTube that mentioned Argentina and this Mothman and like 10,000 people getting Morgellons. Okay. Now, it's interesting that my videos, I'm communicating with this entity, I call it the Birdman, but it could just as well be the Mothman. And people don't really understand the gravity of those videos that I made when I'm out in the woods, because what happened here is when you are speaking to an entity clairvoyantly, there is no evidence of that you can show anybody. But if you can, and since I had a camera, it was showing proof of communication with it by manipulating the tree branches and the trees. That's why my videos, if you were to slow them down and watch all the details, you will see some amazing things. I was actually communicating with this Birdman entity. And this Birdman thing, Mothman, whatever it is somehow connected to this Morgellons. But not only that, this thing has shown me that it landed here a long, long time ago. It's been here since the dawn of time, and I have evidence of that right here. I'm going to show you some things that prove that this Birdman creature has been around a long, long time. And we're going to start with, I'm going to have to get up. I'm going to start with this. No, hold on. Oh, you know what? Before I even go down that road, I'm going to show you something else. Oh boy. Hey, this is a low budget operation, okay? You got to bear with me sometimes. But I want to show you something interesting. See it? Too much light? I don't know. Anyway. So, this is the guy who designed the first plague doctor outfit. The only thing unusual is look at those hands. Those do not look like human hands. Looks like claws in the face. So what I'm saying is when the plague was around, perhaps this Birdman creature was around, and that's where the guy got the idea. And so why do I say that? Well, there's more things that come into play here. One is that Native Americans, when there was a lot of death and a lot of dying going on, would see something called raven mockers, they're called. And when the raven mocker came, it meant that somebody was going to die. And of course there's a lot more to that legend, but those are Native American legends, so they're very old. Now, that plague doctor costume was first drawn in Europe during the time of the bubonic plague, which was also a time of a tremendous amount of death. So when I saw this, when I first started communicating with this entity, it was showing me lines and lines of people, and this was before the Ukrainian situation broke out. And if you watch the videos, if you go back and watch them, you'll see there's one where I actually say that looks like judgment to me, because you see the big face in the tree looking at what looks like a child sitting on the edge and somebody barely holding on. In other words, I felt like it was telling us that we are the children playing with, you know, right on the edge of the abyss. And so that's why it just came to me to say those words, that it looks like judgment to me. And you can see it in the thumbnails. The thumbnails are very telling. People don't understand. I've actually videotaped communication with this Birdman and is proving it by manipulating the tree branches. That is what I'm telling you, and that is the truth. And if you look at the one specific video, I put the camera up and down, and then the bird starts to take shape a little bit at a time until you see its head sideways with the beak. Very similar to that image I just showed you. Now, it's also interesting that Christians believe that the archangel Michael will show himself at times of the end of days, and also the Mothman is said to have predicted death. So when it came to me over here, there was definitely preceding the Ukrainian situation. So what is the connection between that and Morgellons? I do not know, but I do know that I have some artifacts here that prove this Birdman is a real thing, and I'm going to go through them one by one. And this will prove that not only is it real, but it has been here as long as mankind. It's been here since the early days. It may, you know, sometimes I don't know if it's Toth, because he was also a bird head, and so is this all the same thing throughout history? I honestly think it could be. I think that would be an ancient priest of Atlantis, and I'll show you why I think that's a possibility from one of these stones here that I have is going to show that. But let's go through these one by one. First one. Okay. Clearly, you can see that that's a bird. Looks like an eagle. Oh, there we go. Okay. And this is black obsidian that was found at a site that is very well preserved. It also turns into a few other things when you look at it correctly, but the one we're interested in right now is the bird creature. So there's that. Then there's this, which is an arrowhead, but see the face? That right there is the face of the Birdman, one of his forms and faces, right there on this. People think these are arrowheads. This is actually a knife. Okay, it's a knife, but there's that face, and there's always this thing coming down from the nose. It's an indicator. There's like a thing across the nose. This one, I'm not sure it's going to show up. Oh, okay, maybe it does. But this one might be difficult to see. Perhaps there is, yeah, like I said, that one's kind of hard to see. Maybe we try something else here. Well, not sure. Oh, okay, so we see the bird right there, and there's an eye in the middle, and it's kind of a, yeah, see that? So that's another one. Then we have this one here, which is made out of marble, and if you look carefully right there, see the bird? It's got the black on the bottom of the wing, and this is his nose face. What's interesting about this is it's solid marble, and on this side is actually a Bigfoot creature. See that? See the other Bigfoot creature? And this side is the Birdman. So this thing apparently is connected with those other Bigfoot creatures that are running around. Now this one is the real kicker. Okay, because it shows See, there's the bird's head right there. Okay. At the same time, it's this hooded creature and it's holding in its hand all these different people from around the world. But then when you look over here, that looks like Thoth, the father of language. And then when you look over here, you get this guy. Always has that kind of loopy thing in his hair too. That's another indication. This Birdman, and then over here, look at this. That is a wizard. Wizard from Atlantis, right there. That's what that means. And this here is the Birdman on one side and the human face on the other. So, and if you look, this was worked. You see, they always say, can you tell if something was worked? Well, this was filed here and filed here. And this tells the whole story. This rock right here. So, somehow, there seems to be a Christian connection. I don't know. There's a lot to process. But I think it's all connected. So, I'm going to leave it there for now. And I definitely am getting better. When I'm not wearing this white t-shirt, you'll know that it's pretty much, it's a wrap. So, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. There's a lot more to learn. And I'm going to keep working on this mystery. So, thanks a lot. Bye.